On today's episode of How Things Work, I will help you understand how your favorite app works so smoothly, no matter how many people are using them. If you ever wonder how this happens, stay with me as I break down system design to you. How do you build for one user and scale to millions of users? As you grow in your career as a software developer, it isn't just about the code you are writing anymore. It is about the performance of your code. I'm talking about scalability, how you picture your entire component, the entire system, the entire framework of what you're building, and most importantly, how they interact. Alright, let's picture this. You've built a new app. At first, it's just you and your friends using it. So everything runs on one server. Super simple. But as many users start joining in, things are bound to slow down. That one server can't handle all the traffic, and boom, you've got a problem. It is just like how you throw a very small house party and one table has the food, the drinks, the meats, and the music. But what happens when the whole community, your whole neighborhood shows up to that same small party? That one table starts to buckle under pressure, and suddenly it is not so fun anymore. The case of one table handling the food, the meat, the drinks, and the snacks is more like a single server setup, which we all do. It has your web server, your queue, your cache, your database, and so much more. The bad news is that failover can happen here. If anything goes down, your app is cut off from the internet. Maybe your web server goes down, your app is offline. Just like when the party food runs out and everyone has to leave the party. To fix this issue, we usually separate the database from the server. Now, even if one part goes down, the database can keep things running. More like moving the meat of the party to a separate cooler. So if the food runs out, at least the meat keeps flowing. Now we have two separate servers. One server for the web server, another server for our database. So you have separated the snacks from the drinks, the food from the meat. But what if more people show up? Your app is getting the popularity that it needs. This is where scaling comes in. Instead of just getting a bigger table, which can only hold so much, which is also called vertical scaling. Adding more resources, CPU, RAM, storage to your app. This is great when your traffic is low, but it has a hard limit because there's no unlimited storage anywhere in the world. We can't just rely on one server. What do we need to do? We scale out. We set up multiple food stations. Now everyone can grab what they need without crowding. Technically, we set up multiple servers. This is called horizontal scaling, spreading the load across several servers, so no one server gets overwhelmed. Here is also where the load balancer comes into play. It decides which of the server handle which request, more like a traffic controller for your app, making sure that everything runs smoothly. I would liken it to a party bouncer, making sure that each food station gets the right amount of traffic. If one station runs out, the bouncer sends everyone to the next one. But we still have a dilemma here. If the database gets overloaded, what do? We can't just leave the database out. It is the brain behind the operation. We make copies of it. So if one copy catches a code, another one take over. It is like having a backup DJ at your party, so the music never stops. We do what we call database replication. Spin up multiple instances of your database where we do our basic read and write. But we are just getting started. We are going to see how to turn this house party, this single server setup, into a festival of thousands of guests without breaking a sweat. Stick around for part 2. Ireo.